Way cooking on gas. Okay, so a brief. Maybe I should do a brief right there. Even though that's working, I'm going to make it unwork. Let me select entire screen for a second. Actually, I'll just select entire screen. Now that makes sense. Right. So you can see yourselves probably, can't you? So for a long time in an LNbits wallet, obviously you can receive payments, and we've got all these amazing extensions to all these great things. And like a really useful extension for a cafe or a restaurant is the point of sale extension, because they can very easily quickly spin up this point of sale, which they can use on their phones, and they can transfer from phone to phone, and it's all responsive and it looks nice and pretty and whatnot. But then if you shell this to your cafe or bar who has like a Bitcoin friendly owner, the next question they ask when they accumulate all these sats is, well, what can I do with the sats? And you're like, well, you can go, order some hosting from Lunanode or something, I suppose. I don't know. So being able to swap out to onchain and then be able to, either sell your sats for fiat or pay for something just using on-chain Bitcoin transactions is currently necessary, because there's kind of not enough. I mean, lots of people are building things at this hackathon to make it so you can spend your sats natively. So the idea is that point of sale would exist, and then someone, in the bar, they generate invoices, and then someone pays the invoice for their coffee or their beer, what have you. That goes into the user's wallet, and then with this new extension, we can set a threshold in the wallet. So say, 100 quid or 200 quid. And then when it hits that threshold, it will just auto loop out to a on-chain address. So we're using Boltz.Exchange for this, which is a great project for looping out between Lightning and on-chain. And you can actually loop out to things like Ethereum as well, but we're just going to use it for Lightning to on-chain. And it's done in a relatively secure way where no one can steal each other's funds. So here's a little demo of the extension which Daniel built for this hackathon. If we can see this now, okay, so this is the wallet, and then we're going to open up the Boltz extension, create a submarine swap in. He puts in an amount that he wants to receive, and then selects the Lightning wallet which he wants to receive it in, create submarine swap. Okay, now this goes and gets an address from Boltz.Exchange. So you can copy that on-chain address. And now when you send those funds to that address, then those sats are going to appear in the Lightning wallet we selected on LNbits. So it's a way of very quickly being able to swap out from on-chain to Lightning, and then vice versa from Lightning to on-chain. So here we are, we're sending now some Bitcoin to the address. I think he just sent 1 Bitcoin there because he couldn't be bothered calculating what the exact amount should be. But as long as it's the amount or over, it'll just swap out into the address. And there we are. There we have the sats which have appeared then in the LNbits wallet. So this will loop in from on-chain to Lightning and out from Lightning to on-chain. So for me, I would say it's the here we go. I would say it's the missing piece. Like I have a cafe nearby, and the owner who owns the cafe he likes Bitcoin, but I've still not shelled LNbits because I want to go to him. I want to say, look, use my LNbits install, accept Lightning payments on Bitcoin, and then give it your on-chain address from Kraken or your hardware wallet or what have you. And then every 50 quid, it will just loop out. So his risk profile for using my LNbits install, which is custodial after all, is 50 quid, 100 quid. So so it means he can minimize that risk. And I don't have to explain to him how. Maybe later on, if he gets really interested, I could then explain to him how to install his own node and install LNbits and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But for now, just as an easy onboard, he can have the point of sale QR code in his cafe, sorry. The people working there can scan it, and then they can accept Bitcoin, and then it will all just magically loop out to his hardware wallet. So that's the part of it which I'm really excited about. But the part I just showed you is actually going the other way, where it goes from on-chain into the LNbits wallet. So pretty cool. So yeah, the exchange is called Boltz.Exchange. It's a great project, and amazingly, there's so many great projects in this space. I had completely overlooked it until I went to Istanbul, and I was talking about this idea of the looping out thing, which I've been wanting to do for ages as an extension. And and all these Bitcoiners were saying, "Oh, we tried Boltz.Exchange." I was like, and there's this whole thing which I didn't even realize existed. We've also got another version. So obviously we've got all these different extensions. So we've got another version of it, which of a similar extension which does loop outs and loop ins, and that's going to be using Chain Market, Atlenium Chain Market, which works very well as well. So it's nice to have like two different versions of it. But the one which was made for this hackathon was the one using Boltz.Exchange. So thank you, Daniel, very much for that. Great job, sir.
Question, Ben. Maybe I missed it. Do you use XPub for the on-chain addresses?
No. So we have. So in the Chain Market version, actually, because we've got an extension called Watch Only Wallet, where you can put in an XPub and generate on-chain addresses, and then other extensions can use that to generate fresh addresses. So in the Chain Market version of this extension, yes, you put an XPub in the Watch Only Wallet extension, and then you then link that extension to your Watch Only Wallet extension. Then it can generate fresh on-chain addresses. For the purpose of simplicity, I think my man in the cafe, who is accepting, payments for his coffees, and then every 100 quid or 50 quid is going to loop out to his on-chain address. I think he's fine just putting in an on-chain address, which he generates on his hardware wallet or gets off the exchange. And then maybe later on we will add that functionality where you can put in an XPub and then generate fresh addresses. But for now, it's just to keep it simple, because I realized that the Chain Market version, by connecting it to that extension, it's a little bit too complicated for the guy in the coffee shop who just wants LNbits, point of sale, and then this thing which magically loops out to his hardware wallet. That's enough, that's enough complexity there, I think, rather than getting him all wrapped up in XPubs as well and having to explain that to him. So maybe later we'll have some advanced options in that extension for that, maybe. There's also a refund address as well. So basically, if the Boltz.Exchange thing fails, both parties just get their money back. Whereas if it succeeds, obviously, then so I say both parties, both sides of the transaction of the swap get their money back. So it's fail safe. There's nothing which can go wrong.